quality is job one. By Esso Associates and Imperial Oil. You're on your way with Esso. And by Pepsi. It's got what it takes.
It's an historic May Day for the Pittsburgh Penguins. For the first time in franchise history, the Pens will skate in May and in a conference championship against the Boston Bruins, here for the third time in the last 4 years. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC and the Stanley Cup playoffs. Color this series black and gold, but the big question, can the Penguins handle the black and blue treatment that the Bruins will try to hand out in this series? Boston with a clear edge and aggressive style, defense and experience, although the Penguins are well rested and have that high-flying offensive machine. Now the two teams split their season series, a win, a loss, and a tie. Mario Lemieux played just one game and had no points. Let's examine some of the key aspects of this series. The Bruins will have home ice advantage, and of course we saw that was very important in the last round, Monday night, Game 7, and Boston ousted the Montreal Canadiens at home. In goal, of course, there's Andy Moog, a Conn Smythe Trophy candidate, and the clear-cut difference between the Bruins and Canadiens in the Adams Division Final. And they have Cam Neely on a goal-a-game pace in the playoffs. He scored 3 in 3 games against Pittsburgh this year.
Well, they've got a tremendous offensive lineup. We are not going to be able to play run-and-gun hockey with them, but I'd like to think that we could put some pressure on the Pittsburgh defense, and in doing so, we'll spend a lot less time on our end of the ice and give them a tougher time of scoring goals from 180 feet away.
The Penguins are fresh off a 6-day break after winning the Patrick Final in 5 over Washington. They're hot. They won 6 of their last 7 in the playoffs, and of course they're led by line mates Mario Lemieux and Mark Recchi, rolling up big offensive numbers. But even more impressive, the Penguins' defensive play, and Tom Barrasso with the playoffs' best goals against average. He has allowed just 3 goals in the last 3 games. Now, Bob Johnson declined comment on the series tonight. He was busy measuring the dimensions on the ice. It's 9 feet shorter, 2 feet less wide here than the Pittsburgh Civic Arena, and 11 feet shorter in the neutral zone. That prompted Scotty Bowman to suggest that Bobby Orr never had any problems here. Well, I wonder if Don Cherry ever did that before such a key game. It did seem to loosen the Penguins up. Many of the players came out of the dressing room to watch their coach, and they all had smiles on their faces. Interesting, this is the 3rd meeting in the playoffs between these two teams. 1979, the Bruins won 4 games to 1. Mike Milbury had the game-winning goal in the first game of that series. The next year, it was a first-round series. Boston won 3 games to 1. Pittsburgh won the opener, though, and the winning goal was scored by Mark Johnson. His dad will be behind the Pittsburgh bench tonight. It's an all-American coaching matchup here. But right now, we're going upstairs to an all-Canadian duo of Dick Irvin and John Garrett.
Well, thank you, Chris. And John, it seems like only yesterday you and I were standing in the same spot. It was the day before yesterday, actually, when the Canadiens were eliminated by the Bruins, who are the home team again tonight. But I think, John, really, when you look at the overall aspect of both clubs, they're playing a different type of hockey team here in the Boston Garden this evening.
They are, but they have to do some of the same things they did against the Montreal Canadiens. In games 1, 5, and 7 here against the Montreal Canadiens, they were really strong, and they played that way, and I think they're going to have to do that again tonight. Okay, the Penguins come in here on a bit of an offensive role, but that's really no surprise as far as they're concerned. And they're well rested. I think the Bruins, it'll be a little anticlimactic after that dramatic 7th game win, especially here in Game 1. All right, let's take a look now at what the Boston Bruins have to do, in John's opinion, to do the job. Well, they have to forecheck the Penguins, keep them bottled up in their own zone. They need some production from key forwards other than Craig Janney and Cam Neely. Dave Christian got a big goal in Game 7. They have to get goals from some other people. And Ray Bourque cannot continue to play 40 to 50 minutes a game and not look tired. He did look tired in Game 7 in the Montreal series. All right, John, what about the Penguins now as they come on the ice here at the Boston Garden for tonight's game? Well, the Penguins, they have to carry some of the play, but their key is Tom Barrasso. And over his career, he's been a little inconsistent. He's a streaky goaltender. The Penguins are hoping he can run it right through the playoffs. In their defensive zone, they've been bad up until the big trade with Hartford. Now they're a little better. They have to continue playing well in their own zone. And the Bruins will come out hitting. The Penguins know that. I don't know whether physically the Penguins can handle the tough sledding it's going to be here against the Boston Bruins. Well, certainly one fellow who we will all be watching, and so will the Boston Bruins, is Mario Lemieux, who because of his injury and his very shortened season, John, has kind of been in the background a bit compared to other times in his great NHL career. But apparently, according to our Penguin spies, he's been playing pretty well. Well, you got a little bit of a rest here, too. Eliminating the Capitals in 5 has really helped Mario Lemieux. But here in this small building, it's going to be easier for the Bruins to watch Lemieux. It'd be interesting to see if they put a shadow on him, like a Ron Hoover or somebody like that, just to follow Mario around.
Now here come the Bruins. Andy Moog leading them on, followed by Raymond Bourque, as is the custom with those two. And they get a standing O as the fans welcome the home team, who have home ice advantage throughout the entire Stanley Cup playoffs as long as they go from now on. One thing that Andy Moog did was, of course, play better than his counterpart, just enough to tip the scales perhaps in the series with Montreal. But I think here tonight, Johnny, and in this series, he's going to be facing a team that has better snipers, better shooters, better goal scorers.
I think so, and the Canadians, they shot themselves in the foot a number of times when they were right in front of Andy Moog, couldn't get the puck up or couldn't go through his legs. Cam Neely, another key for the Boston Bruins, and I don't know whether Cam Neely will get any special attention from the Penguins or not. That'll be interesting to see.
You know, the Pittsburgh people say they are concerned about the tempo of the game. They want to put it up. They want a fast tempo. They want to try to keep it open as best they can to get away from that clinging type checking of the Bruins. I don't know if they'll be able to do that in this 191-foot Boston Garden.
And Bob Johnson was concerned about that. He watched the tapes of the Montreal series, and he saw how Boston was able to shut down Montreal. Other than Russ Courtnall, the Canadians just couldn't use their speed against the Boston Bruins here at the Boston Garden.
You know, Tom Barrasso playing here in his home backyard. Barrasso was the big high school superstar, and high school hockey is very large in the New England area, and the Sabres, Scotty drafted him right out of here. He went to the NHL, the Calder Trophy, the Vezina Trophy, and all of that. And yet they'll tell you here in Boston he never plays well against the Bruins because of the hometown atmosphere and all his buddies and relatives watching. I don't know if you feel that is relative, to coin a phrase, in his case.
He is really a confidence goaltender, and he's been on a roll lately. I'm sure his confidence is up, and I'm sure we'll see a good game right now from Tom Barrasso.
All right, so the teams are lined up across their respective blue lines, and we'll go to public address announcer Joel Perlmutter. He's going to do the job right now. Bob Cole is going to do the job for us, of course, as he handles the play-by-play of tonight's hockey game. And as you can see, the teams are lined up across the blue line, and we are ready for the introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's meet the members of the 1991 Patrick Division champion Pittsburgh Penguins. Number 3, Grant Jennings. Number 5, Ulf Samuelsson. Number 7, Joe Mullen. Number 8, Mark Recchi. Number 9, Ron Francis. Number 12, Bob Airy. Number 15, Randy Gillen. Number 19, Brian Trottier. Number 23, Randy Hillier. Number 24, Troy Loney. Number 25, Kevin Stevens. Number 28, Gordy Roberts. Number 29, Phil Bork. Number 32, Peter Taglianetti. Number 34, Scott Young. Number 35, Tom Barrasso. Number 40, Frank Pietrangelo. Number 55, Larry Murphy. Number 66, Mario Lemieux. Number 68, Jaromir Jagr. Head coach, Bob Johnson. Assistant coaches, Rick Keogh, Rick Patterson, Barry Smith. Penguins trainer, Skip Thayer, and the Penguins equipment manager, Steve Lattin. ladies and gentlemen, the Pittsburgh Penguins. And now introducing the 1991 Adams Division champion Boston Bruins. Number 1, Reggie Lemelin. Number 8, Cam Neely. Number 12, Randy Burridge. Number 14, Jeff Lazaro. Number 16, Peter Doris. Number 18, Petri Skriko. Number 19, Dave Pullen. Number 20, Bob Sweeney. Number 23, Craig Janney. Number 26, Glenn Wesley. Number 27, Dave Christian. Number 28, Gary Galley. Number 30, Chris Nyland. Number 32, Don Sweeney. Number 35, Andy Moog. Number 36, Jim Weimer. Number 38, Vladimir Rosichka. Number 44, Ron Hoover. Number 55, Ken Hammond. Number 77, Captain Ray Bork. Head coach, Mike Milbury. Assistant coach, Ted Sater. Assistant coach, Gordy Clark. Athletic trainer, Jim Narrigan. Athletic therapist, Donnie Warden.
So the introductions have been completed. It would appear that Andy Moog and Raymond Bork top things on the applause meter. Game 1 is next. Molson Hockey Night in Canada on CBC continues in just a moment.
That our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the
The bruising Bruins of Boston and the highly explosive Penguins of Pittsburgh. The winner, a trip to the Stanley Cup Final. Here's Andy Van Helleman. The referee tonight, Gord Brossiger and Kevin Collins, will be on the lines.